Hello everyone, I am back finally with a very long-awaited update on my autograph collection in my WWE Encyclopedia. It's been 2.5 years since I've made one of these videos. That was back in April of 2023 when I had just come home from WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles and the WrestleCon there. And so today is now Friday, November the 14th, 2025, and in that 2.5 year gap, I have been to WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia and the WrestleCon and the WWE World that weekend. I've been to the Gathering 2 more times. I've been to WrestleCade once more. Went to the Royal Rumble this year in Indianapolis and picked up a few autographs there. So, and in that time I've picked up roughly 120 or so more autographs since my last update. So I'll try not to spend too much time flipping through the pages here, try to go through them somewhat rapidly and just show you the new ones since my last video. This video is my fourth update. And I'll probably need to break it up into 2, possibly 3 videos just to keep them not too extra long. So here we go. And I'll just go over what's new. And try to remember as best as I can when and where these were added. Okay, so right here, 3-man band. So I have met Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre since then. Jinder Mahal was at WrestleCade last year in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Drew McIntyre was at the Royal Rumble in Indianapolis this year. Picked up both of those and completed this page here. And Ahmed Johnson, one I had been hoping to meet for quite a while, and glad that he started coming back out and making appearances. I got this at Philadelphia WrestleCon last year, and also very happy to get AJ Styles, one of my favorite current guys, actually my absolute favorite current guy. This was also Philadelphia at WWE World. And asked him if he would write the phenomenal AJ Styles. And as we speak, tomorrow is the big event in New York where AJ Lee will be signing, but I will not be there, sadly. Would love to add her signature. Al Perez, that's new. This came from the Gathering last year in Charlotte. That was in 2024. Alberto Del Rio, picked this up last year in Chillicothe, Ohio. See, it was around March of 24. It was just a few weeks before WrestleMania 40. Aldo Montoya, or Justin Credible. I drew a blank. Justin Credible, yeah, he was at the Philadelphia WrestleCon. Picked that up last year. And Alicia Fox was also at the Philadelphia WrestleCon last year. She was super sweet. Really, really nice. Angelo Mosca Jr., that was last year's Gathering in Charlotte, 2024. And Hornswoggle, anonymous Raw general manager. I hadn't really even considered having him sign this part before. I'd met him several times, and then the idea came to me last year when he was at WrestleCade, and I walked up to him and said, "Have you ever signed this part before?" And he said, "Believe it or not, I just signed my first one last week, so mine was the second one he had ever signed." See, nothing new here. Yeah, Jamie Noble. So he made an appearance in West Virginia, in Madison, West Virginia, for All Star Wrestling, which is Gary Dameron's company. West Virginia being Jamie's home state, as well as mine. So it was great to see him come home, making a rare live appearance. This was about a year ago. I think it was November of 24, Madison, West Virginia. I had him sign 4 different spots, and so we'll see those. Bayley, that's new. Got her before a SmackDown show in Louisville, Kentucky last summer in June. She came out, as she arrived at the arena, she came out and took a few pictures and signed a few autographs before the show. That was really cool. Big E, that's new. Got him at WWE World last year in Philadelphia. Blue Meanie was WrestleCon last year in Philadelphia. He signed about 4 different spots. And then Blue Pants was last year at WrestleCade. Nothing new here so far. Almost finished this page actually. All I just need to add is Brodus Clay and Brother Love, and then everybody else will be already signed. Okay, Bull Buchanan. This was last year at the Gathering in Charlotte. He signed about 3 different places. And Bull Nakano is new. She was at WrestleCade last year. Very excited to get to meet her finally. She doesn't make a lot of appearances. Here's another Blue Meanie spot from the Philadelphia WrestleCon last year. Corey Graves. This was also at that SmackDown show where I got to meet Bayley. When they finished, this was in Louisville, Kentucky last summer, and when they finished filming SmackDown, they were getting ready to do, I think it was, it was the WWE Speed tapings. They were doing a couple of Speed tapings, so there was about a 5-minute gap where they were changing the scene, and walked up to the wall where his table is and asked him if he would sign the book, and he did. And there's a little Gerald Briscoe signature right there. Got that at Chillicothe last year. Same place I met Alberto Del Rio. And I had met him once before, but I hadn't had him sign for the corporation before, so I added that signature. Okay, Dan Spivey, he was at the Gathering last year. and so was Dangerous Danny Davis. I'm always happy to meet the guys from the 80s that I grew up watching, since there aren't many left. And Dan Spivey, he signed the Wayland Mercy page, which I'll get to later also. Let's see, these... No, none of these are new. Or no, yeah, Dawn Marie. Yeah, that was in Philadelphia last year at WrestleCon. So that is new. And Dink, that was in Philadelphia last year. WrestleCon. Okay, Dolph Ziggler. He did GalaxyCon in Columbus, Ohio 2 years ago. Yes, 2023. So I got his signature there, and also on the Spirit Squad for Nikki. And my other Drew McIntyre from the Royal Rumble this year in Indianapolis. Okay, the Pitbulls. This was signed by Pitbull Gary Wolf. He came to a show hosted by Time Warp of Ashland, Kentucky, and this one was in Catlettsburg. I'd have to check my notes to see when that was. It was May of 2023, so it was right after my last video that I made. And here's another Blue Meanie from Philadelphia WrestleCon last year. And I think this Raven is new, yeah. Yeah, that was from Philadelphia last year. I had met Raven once before, but I didn't have him sign this page the first go around. I think that Sabu was there before. No, nothing new on this part. Okay, both of the Rougeaus are new. Let's see, I met Jacques first at that Chillicothe show last year. And then Raymond Rougeau was last year at the Gathering. Yeah, they were both there together actually, but I had already met Jacques previously. And let's see, both of these are new as well. So Nunzio was also at Chillicothe, where Jacques was. And then Tony Mamaluke was at the Philadelphia WrestleCon last year. And Finn Balor, that was at WWE World in Philadelphia last year. Real happy to finally get that one. Let's see, nothing new here. The Goon, that was the Gathering last year, 2024. Great Khali, he was at WrestleCade last year, one of the headliners. Very cool, rare autograph to pick up there. So yeah, WrestleCade, and then just got this one a few months ago at the Gathering. Not entirely sure how to pronounce it. I've heard several ways. I'm going to say the Great Sasuke. But he was at the Gathering just a couple of months ago in August. Harvey Whippleman's new. That was from the Gathering last year in Charlotte. Oh, Natalia. That was at WWE World in Philadelphia last year. Heidi Lee Morgan. That was the Gathering last year. I believe that's all on this page. Here's another Jamie Noble when he came to West Virginia, Madison, West Virginia last November. And then Jack Swagger was new. He came to Catlettsburg, Kentucky for Time Warp Ashland. This was in May of 23. Yeah, it was the same show where I got the Pitbull Gary Wolf signature. So Jack Swagger, he signed in 2 different spots. And another Jamie Noble from Madison, West Virginia last November. Jazz, that was at WWE World, Philadelphia last year. Okay, several new ones here. So Jinder Mahal at WrestleCade last year, and then I added Al Snow and Blue Meanie to the Job Squad. Al Snow was last year in Chillicothe, and Blue Meanie was last year at Philadelphia WrestleCon. And then I also have Dwayne Gill or Gilberg and Too Cold Scorpio. Still need Bob Holly, hopefully. And got The Miz at WWE World last year, Philadelphia. And then Raven signed the Johnny Polo page at the Philadelphia WrestleCon last year. I had heard that he doesn't always sign for that, since I don't think he was too thrilled with that gimmick, but he was very pleasant about me asking and just said, yeah, sure, why not? So that's cool. Johnny Rods was at the Gathering this year, just a couple months ago in August. JoJo, I think that was Philadelphia. Let me double check that. Yeah, it was. That's a new one. So that was the Philadelphia WrestleCon last year. And both of the Jumping Bomb Angels were at the Gathering last year. Very, very awesome, rare meet and greet. Just Incredible was at the Philadelphia WrestleCon. Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble this year. Royal Rumble meet and greets in Indianapolis. Glad to meet him. Kevin Thorne was at WrestleCade last year. So he signed here and for Mordecai. I don't see him on a whole lot of guest lists either for these conventions. So glad to add both of those guys. Crystal Marshall, she was also at WrestleCade last year. Rob Conway, that was at the Gathering this year. And Tajiri, yeah, that was from Philadelphia last year, Philadelphia WrestleCon, that blue signature right there. Okay, so Savio Vega had previously signed this, but the other three guys were all four of them were together at the Philadelphia WrestleCon. So Savio had previously signed it and added all the other three at Philadelphia last year. That was really cool. Conquistadors were supposed to be at the Gathering this year, and one of them had to cancel. So Marty, at the Gathering, he decided just to hold off on the other and have them both return when they could together. It's really bummed to miss them. And then Diego here, or Primo Colon, he signed this last year at WrestleCade. Still nothing new. Mike McGurk, that's new. She was at the Philadelphia WrestleCon. She showed up on the very last day, on Sunday, as an unannounced guest, or as a late addition anyway. So it's glad that they added her at the last minute. And there's the other Miz autograph from WWE World last year in Philadelphia. And there's Mordecai, Kevin Thorne, from WrestleCade last year. Here's the Mountie. This was at that Chillicothe show last year.